Good evening, everyone. Ads here from Unity Trading Group. Welcome to the session. No live session tonight, unfortunately, but do have time to do our daily video update. As always, give us a like, subscribe to the video if you found this interesting and insightful. You can find all of our links down below in the video description. So moving right along, Bitcoin, BTC, not a lot has happened since our update yesterday. We're still teetering around this 78.6 Fibonacci area at 19,194. So to give you a bit of background on how I got these fibs, we're looking at the swing low to the swing high down to the pullback of the 27th of November to give us a lot of these zones. So we're looking at the 382, the 5, the 618, the 786 as the levels that we're usually used to seeing. But the benefit of this is that we have multiple levels to the upside that we can possibly look for movements for Bitcoin. So we're looking at 20,000 exactly, which lines up quite nicely with that psychological resistance. And of course, the 1272 and the 1618. So the 1618 is the area that more than likely we will push through to if we get that volatile movement to the upside and we get some more buying pressure. And that's interesting because we need a little bit more volume to enter this market. It's really looking a little bit stagnated right now for Bitcoin because we've been teetering around this 78.6 for quite some time now. And even last night we were at this level and we were looking to push up, but of course we closed underneath and we haven't seemed to get a convincing move to the upside and close above this 78.6 yet. So whether or not we're lining up for a movement on a smaller time frame towards, so we can push back towards this 20k, or we're gearing up for a bit of a rejection at this 78.6 and we'll head back down, even if we retest this level or our trend line that's been going on for quite some time. So I'll give you, I've ruined that. Even if we look at the trend line, we have been running this trend line since around that 8th of October. So it's been a long-standing trend. And I've used, obviously, our line chart to really gauge where that should be. And I'll nip it up a touch just to give us a better indication there. So if you're always wondering how to draw trend lines in and you find it difficult to isolate the wicks or the candle bodies, you can always flick it to the line chart and you can get a very clear indication of how to draw those trend lines in there. But for the immediate term, if we're looking to not break through this 78.6, I'd be interested to see this 50 and 38.2 levels be tested. And of course, that coincides very nicely with that trend line, that upwards trend line. And of course, our level of demand, which is very relevant in my opinion, but of course not a strong one. It is a very short-term area as it's not on a market pivot point, which is the one that I've got drawn in at 16.8. That would be the strongest area. But because this is just a pause in the market that coincides very nicely with a level of fib, you're looking at a low quality area. So if we do get down there, there's all the chance that we could push straight through it and head back down to this 16.8 if we do not break down, if we do not break through this 78.6 over the course of this evening and into tomorrow. That would be something that I'd be looking for BTC to do. Yesterday, yesterday I was really speaking about this 20k area, and I was really saying that it would be my opinion that we would see BTC back at this level, probably not in the immediate term, but over the next probably couple of days and into the weekend. If we switch on the volume indicator, we can see why we haven't pushed through this 78.6 at this given time. Because since this movement to the downside from 20 to around 18k, that $2,000 swing we haven't picked up any new volume, and the volume's been pretty low and pretty stagnated since then. So I'd be looking towards this level either holding or breaking. I know yesterday I said the same thing, and of course I don't want to lead you guys astray. I want to be as open and honest as possible. I'm really waiting for this 78.6 to either push through and close above very confidently, or we're not going to hold, we're not going to push through, we're going to close underneath for the next number of candles and then slowly head towards that 618 and the 38 38.2 area fibs that I've got identified just below the price. My area would be, of course, the 50, 38.2, and of course that level of demand for a further movement to the downside if we are going for that. If we do break above the 78.6, as we are just on the cusp of that now, I'd be looking, like I said yesterday, towards that 20K. So moving on now, Ethereum. Ethereum is not doing much, honestly, with BTC stagnated to the right-hand side as we are moving ever so slowly to the right-hand side. Ethereum is doing much the same. We are still holding that 23.6 fib retracement area from that level of supply just above us, and that level of supply does look broken. However, more than likely there's going to be some stacking orders there, some stacking sells and some stacking shorts around this area, because we didn't confidently break through it. We did wick through it, we did wick past it, came up and then got slammed straight back down and closed not even halfway through, and then that immediate reaction down to our 565 area. So I'd still be looking for some sellers at this level, and more than likely the same sort of outcome for BTC that I'm looking for Ethereum, where if we're looking for more downwards movement, I'd be looking towards that 550 area again, where we see that level of demand. But if we are to get some volume into this market and with BTC also, I'd be looking for 616 or 615 for Ethereum in the very short term. The last one I'll have a look at is the DXY. And the DXY playing out very nicely. It always has been. It's a regulated market. Our indicators play very nicely with the DXY. This is not financial advice, as always. This is just ideas and opinions of Team UTG. But our supply and demand strategy, alongside with our steamroller and a couple of the other indicators that we use, is playing out extremely nicely on the DXY, and it always has been. I always say go back and have a look at some of the technical analysis that we really put forward on the DXY, day in, day out, because it does play out and it does react very, very nicely, or predictable. It is very predictable for the DXY, and nothing has changed since then. We really look towards that level down here at $90 or $90, 90.1 or 90.0, 91 even, pretty much, that I was looking for, 91 points that would be. And in any case, really looking at that level of demand there. So what can we expect for the DXY in the immediate term? I'm expecting a little bit more of a retracement to the upside. That really holds true for me right now. We're looking at these indicators. We are very much bottomed out on the RSI. We are looking towards a sweeping upwards movement for the CCI, and of course our steamroller, homegrown steamroller indicator, is looking like it does need to get some relief and some movement to the upside to really hold it true on this 4-hour time frame. So this market cycle needs to change, even if it's just for a little while, towards the upside. So I just removed our previous level of demand, which we did retest. So if we're going to get some movements to the upside for the DXY, if we're going to get this sort of sweeping movement to the upside to really cool off our indicators before it making a decision on, are we going to reverse or are we going to push down again through this level of demand, we need to wait and see. However, I am personally looking for a little bit of a bounce, whether or not it's to our previous levels that we saw around here, where we've got some liquidity to the left, or a support resistance flip scenario where we had support and then we had breakthrough and then resistance. That's a support resistance flip scenario, and we could see that area be tested again alongside our negative 61.8 Fibonacci area, which is bang on 91.50. So that would be my area for the immediate term if we're going to look for some sort of pullback, or relief to the upside. But that really concludes our video tonight, our daily video. All of our links can be found below, as I said to you earlier. Give us a subscribe if you can. If you like what you see, give it a share. Share it around to anyone that you think will find some value in this content, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night.